Yo, what is good, people? It's your boy Ramon in the building with the Nexus 4. Not exactly a new device, but a very relevant device. So the Android market right now is a bit interesting. You've got the Galaxy S4 breaking records. You've got the HTC One, to this day what I consider Android's only premium device. And then you've got the Jesus phone, the Moto X, that completely disappointed, but still did something I think was significant, which was end the spec war. And then you've still got last year's contender, the Nexus 4. This is really a perfect time to review this phone. Somewhere in the midst of all of that, the Nexus 4 still has a home. And here's why. With the Moto X coming in at about $650, and people were hoping that it would have been almost half that price. It's on par with something like a Galaxy S4 or the HTC One, but with none of the specs. And that's a conversation for later. But the Nexus 4 can still be had unlocked, 16 gigs from Google for $350 today, a year later. Is that a good thing? Yes, it is. So let's take a look at the specs. It's got a 4.7 1280 by 768 resolution display. That's just about 720, and it is an IPS display boasting a 320 ppi density, wrapped with Gorilla Glass 2. It comes with 16 gigs of storage online. You can get it 8 if you go for the cheaper model. 2 gigs of RAM, and a quad-core Snapdragon S4 processor, clocked at 1.5 per core. That's not bad. For $350, those specs are damn near equal to the Motorola X. It also comes with an 8 megapixel camera, and I'll slam that in a little bit. What really makes this phone special as any Nexus device is it's pure Android. There's nothing to slow it down, nothing to bog it down. You get the latest updates as soon as they're pushed. And that's probably one of the reasons why I picked this up again. Google pushed Jelly Bean 4.3 to this thing, and I decided to give it a go. So with Jelly Bean 4.3, you get a new camera UI, which really doesn't help because the camera on this thing is terrible. And it's interesting, in my first review, shots look pretty decent until I noticed I was outside in plenty of sunlight every time I took a picture. And of course, with any camera phone or any camera period, when there's an abundance of light, everything looks fine. But you bring it indoors or a low light situation, man, this camera blows. Now in 4.3, devs get access to the notification curtain. They can put their apps up there, which is a dope thing, and I didn't think it was a big deal, but using 4.2.2, you know, something as simple as a reply button in the notification curtain makes so much of a difference. So I'm really excited to see what the devs can do with this. Also in 4.3, Bluetooth now works with these smart devices or medical devices, whatever the hell they call these health things, your Nike Fuel Band, and I'm not exactly sure why it didn't work before. I never read into this. But it's on the spec sheet, whatever. There's also restricted profiles, so this is pretty much like Kids Corner from Windows Phone. You can lock down a profile to certain apps or whatever you want to do. And my favorite parts of 4.3, one is it now supports OpenGL 3, which means better graphics all around. And just from playing with the device, I did notice it's a little more smooth than it was before. Everything moves a little bit more buttery. I guess you could say it renders graphics different, a lot smoother now. High five. And then the last one is trim is now enabled by default. So for those of us who've been in SSD world on our PCs for the last 3 or 4 years, you know, trim's something important. It goes back and cleans up the storage and it keeps everything running nice and clean. Trust me, it's a good thing to have, and it's very interesting to see Google deploy this. If you ever wanted to see this work in real world, you just think to yourself about a phone you've had for 8 months, and slowly but surely it slows down, and you're like, oh, why isn't it working the way it should? And then you hard reset it and the thing flies again. So that's essentially what trim is doing, is trying to avoid that situation. It's an ongoing maintenance. So I gotta say, after using the HTC One for a while and coming back to this device, using as a daily driver, Jelly Bean 4.3 aside, it's not a badly designed device. And let me tell you, that all metal design on the HTC One is seriously addictive. But making that transition from that back to a Nexus 4, it's kind of amazing how really fluid, how nicely designed this thing is. It doesn't have edge-to-edge display, but it's close enough, and it has a rounded off feel at the edges, and of course there's glass on the back. And this thing is famous for just sliding off of flat surfaces. I've never seen anything like this. You can put this down on the table, you'll walk away and come back, it'll be on the floor. It's quite hilarious actually. And of course there's that nice I don't know what to call that, 3D hologram look on the back. So the device is still very pleasing to the eye, and it's really nice to the touch. And supposedly Google actually did some work to dial in the display, because even for a 720 display, a lot of people complained that it was really mute, and it kind of was. And I'm hard pressed to notice the difference now, but I wasn't complaining before, and I'm not complaining now. So yeah, I mean, almost a year later, maybe a little longer, this thing is still a force to be reckoned with at $350. And you gotta figure, the Moto X was just released and it didn't have a quad core, it had a dual core processor. And it's interesting for the spec fans out there that this device, even with its low price, is still a competitor. I think the only downfall here is it doesn't have LTE, and that was remedied by a specific radio. I remember reading a blurb a while back. Depending on the radio you flash on it, you can get LTE for certain carriers. It's not my main device, so the lack of LTE is not a terrible thing to me. But even on regular HSDPA, this thing is not slow. It's definitely, it does what it needs to do. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna rate this thing again, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. And what I really like about it is how relevant it is for something so old, and it just adds so much clout to the Nexus brand. You know, these things are built to last. These things are built to see it through to the end. And I don't have a problem even today recommending this device to someone. You know, for HTC One or Galaxy 4 is too pricey, then yeah, get you one of these. If you're not impressed with the Moto X, yeah, get you one of these. But it's your boy Ramon. I'm gonna get out of here. Got some more work to do. Just do me a favor. If you get a chance, like the video, share it, subscribe. Make sure you stop by the website, check it out. We got a lot going on over there, and I really think you'll appreciate that. So yeah, I'm out of here. Peace.